Alright, welcome back, history fans. I am at Jumonville, Glen, a unit of the Fort Necessity Park. Now, from everything I can discern, right in through here is, it seems to be where Washington and his Native American allies, there were 12 of them. Washington had 40 guys, and they were coming to meet this French force that supposedly had papers supporting being at war with Washington and the colonists and the British, as well as diplomats for peace. And so he wasn't sure if they were gathering information or not. And one thing that they don't know is who fired first. If Abbott and Costello were still around, I'd love to see a skit on that. I would go down, as you can see, there's more of a trail, things like that, but back here is this closed. So I don't know if that's talking about this trail or that. So I'm going to play it safe and stay up here. I don't want to get in trouble with the Park Service. But I am potentially standing in an area where the first shots of the French and Indian War started, which eventually helped lead to the American Revolution. Now, one thing to consider is when Washington and his men, when the attack ensues, eventually talks happen and the two sides come to some type of terms. And supposedly, from the information I've gathered, Jumonville is surrounded by the rest of his guys, and the Half King, I don't want to butcher the guy's name, decides to proceed to go up around him, tomahawk him, eat a little bit of his brain, which was something that they did for a ritual in their culture, and then wash his hands in the leftover brain matter. The other thing to consider is what happened here would lead to the disaster that happened to Fort Necessity, which would lead to Braddock's defeat, which, like I said, again, would eventually lead to other things. But the other thing that happens here is after this and after the stuff at Fort Necessity, when Washington's prepping his defenses, Washington goes with the Half King and meets with a bunch of Native Americans, and they're not sure if Washington's defenses are going to hold, and they don't like his idea of standing up to the British or the French in a open field, and they're not quite sure if they trust him. Plus, he doesn't have supplies to prep to properly gain their alliance. So they leave him. And then when the Delaware and other tribes are again gathered to go with Braddock, Braddock makes a mistake and says that, well, if they win, that the land will be the British. It won't have anything to do with the Native Americans. And this is their land. They have an investment in here. It's their way of life. And what is wondering to me is how much of that would lead to the further conflicts with the Ohio Valley Indians and Pontiac's Rebellion and the Northwest Confederacy and Tecumseh's Confederacy. Who knows? But I know that the Delaware were part of at least 2 out of the 3 of those. But that's my thoughts.